Hey everyone, this is Jordan, of course, and in today's video, I'm going to discuss a couple of what I would like to put in air quotes influencers when it comes to the Canadian Amazon market. So what we see here is an individual named Sasha Teed. She was brought to my attention a few weeks ago. I've noticed a few people talking about her in the community because she actually offers Canadian content, which is excellent. We don't have a lot of resources here in Canada. And I've looked through some of her videos, and some of them make sense. Some of them are certainly helpful. But I came across this video here, which says a day in the life of a 25-year-old entrepreneur, what they don't show you. I watched this entire video, and what I saw, I didn't see anything really entrepreneur related. All I saw was, her going out for coffee and dinner and classes, things of that. I didn't really see any real work being put in besides her mentioning that she has to edit a video. In my opinion, from my personal experience, if you are an entrepreneur and you are successful and you're actually making some money, that involves some real work. So I didn't really see any of that in this video, which I mean, it's fine. Maybe she doesn't show you everything that she does in a day, but it made me curious and I want to do some additional digging. And so if you don't know, I've been in the Amazon FBA business for about 4.5 years now. I do this full time. I also operate a leads list business, Serendipity OA, which is on this channel here. And I do have a decent sized team. Right now I have a team of 8 VAs from the Philippines, and then I also have 3 local employees as well. So we have a decent sized team. We are trucking along. We do quite well. I am building also what I believe is like really the first active Canadian community for Amazon sellers on Discord. There are a bunch of other Facebook groups that are out there, but they are not as active as the community that we've been putting together here. So when I see things like this, I always like to do my homework. And the intention of this video is not to point any fingers or to make any assumptions. All I'm going to do is let everybody know what I found doing my personal research and let you come to your own opinions. I may interject a few things here and there that I have noticed, but I'm not going to give any opinions. I'm not going to make any assumptions. I'm just going to display some information that I have found and let you come to your own conclusions about the people that we're discussing today. So after I found this video, as I mentioned, I wanted to do a little bit of additional digging. So I came across Sasha's Twitter page, and I noticed that this screenshot here from March 29th, today is April 19th. I noticed that she had posted this screenshot indicating that she sold about $5,800, profited $762. That's excellent. That is 100% possible in Canada and definitely possible in the US. I see nothing wrong with that. So everything looks solid. Maybe she actually knows what she's talking about. That's completely cool. If we have more people that know what they're talking about producing content for Canadians, I am completely A-okay with that. But I noticed that she also has a boyfriend named Chris Harb, or Christopher Harb. And Chris Harb here, I looked at his Twitter, and he posted a similar screenshot of his sales, showing $6,500 sale day with a net profit of $837. That is perfectly fine. But some red flags came up for me because I have communicated with Chris in the past. Back in 2022, I talked to him on Instagram. It was early 2022. I still have the messages. At that time, I noticed that he had posted a course for sale to offer people information on how to get started selling on Amazon. And I have absolutely nothing wrong with that. The problem that I had is I had noticed at that time he was an absolutely brand new Amazon seller. He had very, very little experience. I told him that in my post. I told him in my post that I had found his storefront and, he had very limited feedback. He was not making any real sales. He was claiming he was a 6-figure seller. And I mentioned to him that, when you're indicating you're a six-figure seller, that means 6 figures in a 12-month period, not total, which he clearly was not doing at that time from what I saw. And I mean, it didn't really go anywhere from there. I just voiced my opinion to him and advised him that what I thought he was doing was scummy. I believe if you are attempting to charge somebody for information, especially a decent amount of money, you should actually know what you're doing. You should be able to provide them some real value. Otherwise, in my opinion, it's just a little bit scummy. Okay. So when I noticed that she's dating Chris, I just had some red flags, and this made me want to do some additional digging from there. So as I mentioned earlier, I have a decent sized team. We do a lot of sourcing. We pump out, right now we have 5 different leads lists that we pump out for Canadians. So that is 50 leads per day, every single weekday. So we're pumping out a lot of products. And we also do a lot of research on competition in the Canadian market. I have a very large database of sellers that we track, that we scan on a regular basis. And when I find additional information about these sellers, I input them into my database as well, or my team does. So with that being said, I already knew that I knew Chris's storefront. I already had him in our database. I had already found him previously myself. I wanted to check to see if we had Sasha in our database. So I searched my database and I came up with this storefront. So I'm going to show you a couple things here. If you have been selling on Amazon for any amount of time, you will understand that feedback, a seller's feedback rating, or how many feedback they have, is a direct correlation to how many units they actively sell. On average, feedback, the total number of feedback that you have on average is about 1 to 2% of your total sales. So meaning if you have 1 feedback in the last 30 days, that is an indication that you've probably sold 100 to 200 units in the last 30 days, right? You can get a very good feel for sellers and the amount of volume that they're doing by looking at the amount of feedback that they have. So I came across this seller, this individual storefront was linked in my database to Sasha Teed, and I'll show you how we came across that in a moment. But when I looked at this storefront here, and we look at their feedback, so they have 42 feedback lifetime. That's not a problem at all. But when we look in the last month, there's 0 feedback. When we look in the last 3 months, there's 0 feedback. When we look in the last 12 months, there's 3 feedback. Okay, so that automatically tells me that this seller is either inactive or they do not sell any type of volume whatsoever. Absolutely nothing wrong with that. To me, this looks like it's potentially somebody that does it part-time, or they're not active whatsoever. We can notice on this page that there is no link to go to products. So that means that this seller has no active products in the Canadian market. We are currently on Amazon.ca. So the way that we do initial research for sellers is we take the Amazon.ca link and we replace the .ca in Amazon.ca/SP?seller and the seller ID. We just change .ca to .com, and this takes us to the US market. And in the US market, it is required that they list the seller and their address that is linked to that account. If you didn't know this, now you do. So if you're incorporated, of course, your company would show up there instead. If you have a different address, say you use a different mailing address, a virtual office, a PO box, etc., that would be the one that is displayed, assuming it's updated on your Amazon account. But we can see in this case, it should have just says Sasha Teed. I'm going to block out her physical address because I don't want to be doxing anybody. But we can see the storefront name itself is Sasha Teed. The business name is Sasha Teed. And what I won't block out is that we can see that this person is from Montreal. And we can see from Sasha's videos and going through her Twitter that she is based in Quebec. So I'm pretty positive that this is actually her. And so we don't see any feedback in the US, and we also don't have a link to open up a product page here. So that tells me that this person has no active listings. So this person, Sasha Teed, has no active products in either the US or in Canada. However, she is also indicating on Twitter just a few weeks ago that she has been selling, about 6K per day, profiting $700, $800, $900 per day. So that to me just does not click. I do believe that there may be something that she may not be telling everybody here. But again, I'm just displaying some information, and everybody can make their own opinions and their own assumptions. Just to double check to ensure that we have the option to see US products, I'm just going to move my screen over here for a second. I'm going to change from deliver to Canada to deliver to the US. I'm just going to input my US postal code, or zip code rather, just so nobody can see if I had any addresses saved there. I'll put it back. And so I have delivered to Niagara Falls and New York. So this is a cross-border pickup address that I have. I'm going to refresh quickly. And again, we see that there's no option to look at any products. So there are no products that are available in this seller's storefront. Okay. So coming back to Chris, I was already familiar with what Chris's storefront was. We had already tracked it. This is already a storefront that we had previously scanned, and we go through many different seller storefronts on a regular basis. And so this is the storefront that I had come across that was connected to Chris, that was in our database. So again, if we do just kind of a brief feedback evaluation, we can see in the last 12 months, this seller has 29 feedback. Last 3 months, 4 feedback. The last 1 month, 0 feedback. So that would tell me that, they have 4 feedback in the last 3 months. So that would be an indication that they sold 400 to 800 units in the last 3 months. So on the high end, if we take 800 divided by 3, I times by 3 in my calculator here, 800 divided by 3, that tells me that they're selling about 266 units per month. Absolutely nothing wrong with that. Chances are it's likely less, but that's kind of 266 units on the high end. And so here it's indicating that he sold 48 units in one day. Again, that's relatively low, but maybe he has higher profit units or higher revenue units. Nothing wrong with that. But if you're selling, say, even on average 40 units per day times 30 days, that would be an indication that you're selling about 1,200 units per month. So again, something with that does not exactly click. And if you do some analysis into the storefront, before we dig deeper into that, you can actually see that we have an option here to visit their storefront, whereas with this other storefront here, there is no option. So we can't actually click into the storefront, just in case you weren't aware. For this one, there's actually active products. We can click in the storefront. We can review what is there. Before we do that, let's just switch over to the US side here. And again, we can see that there is a name connected to this account named Christopher Harb, based in Quebec. So I am quite certain this is the person that we are discussing today. Okay, so let's just briefly look into their US storefront just to see if there's any products that are available. There are none. Okay, no problem. Let's go back. Let's flip back over to the Canadian side. And let's just do a quick analysis of their storefront here. So based on this screenshot, they had sold $6,500 and 48 units. So that means that their average selling price was about 135 bucks, right? You can come and do a quick analysis of Chris's storefront, which I have done extensively in here and in the Keep a Product Finder. And you can certainly see that there are some higher ticket items in his storefront, but in general, they are a lot lower average selling priced items that I don't personally believe could equal an average selling price of 135 bucks, especially once you look at sales volume, if Amazon's in the buy box for those products, etc. So again, I'm just giving my opinion for the information that I've seen here. You, of course, can make your own assumptions and your own opinions however you see fit. So again, something doesn't exactly click with the information that I've been seeing, I don't see any indication of any real volume being sold. To me, if I analyze a storefront like this one that we saw here, I just have to go back a couple to get back to the actual storefront. When I see for feedback in the last 90 days or 3 months, that to me indicates that this is a low volume, inexperienced, relatively new seller, right? This doesn't indicate to me that they're doing any type of serious volume, doing any type of serious profit. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. This to me just appears to be somebody that's doing it more part-time. With that being said, that doesn't exactly, in my opinion, click to what I have seen them posted here. I mean, maybe, right? So what, I'm not making any assumption that these are fake, but this, from the information that we've seen in this video, this doesn't tell me that these individuals are 100% being super truthful. If either Sasha or Chris watch this video, 100% feel free to reach out to me. I'm 100% open to talking to either one of you at any time. And if you can show me a live video of you going into Seller Central or even Seller Board and refreshing the page and still showing these figures here, I'll believe you, and I will likely remove this video and completely retract all the statements that I've made today. But until then, this video will stay up, just so everybody can be aware of exactly what is potentially happening and for them to make their own informed decisions. So just keep in mind that figures, again, I'm not saying it in the case of either Sasha or with Chris, but figures that you see, I wouldn't always suggest anybody to assume what you see is actually what is happening. Sales figures can be inflated. They can be completely fake. They can be stolen. We never know what's happening. But just to show you for a quick example, on a internet browser, it is very easy to change and manipulate the numbers that you see. So like even if we just go to a random Amazon page, I'm not sure exactly what you're going to see when I right click and whatnot, because I believe Loom is only recording the current screen that I'm on. But if you right click on any page that you're on, so whether that's Seller Board, Amazon, Seller Central, your bank account, whatever, you can right click and click inspect. And again, I'm not sure if you can see this, but there's an element page that pops up at the bottom. We can take a little button here and we can hover over any section that we would like, and it'll highlight that section and give us what is essentially called the XPath data of that web page. And we can come in here and we can actually edit this temporarily. So I'm highlighting this section here. And again, I'm not sure if you can see it, but in my inspect element at the bottom of my screen, I'm not sure if you can see it. I see it says $29.49. So I can come in here and I can just edit this myself. So I can say put in $1,000. As soon as I do that and hit enter, I found the wrong section here. Give me 1 second. We will try this again. I found the wrong section, so we'll open up this guy. So I found 29. So let's change this one to $1,000 and hit enter. Now we can see it updated on Amazon's end. So it's very easy to change the numbers that you see on an internet screen. Once I refresh the page, that goes back to where it was, which is again why I mentioned about Sasha and Chris. If you want to actually prove what you're doing and you want to go on a live call and look into Seller Central or Seller Board and refresh the page to see those numbers, I'm completely cool with that. And if you do that, I will 100% concede and I will let everybody know that you are 100% legit. But until I see that, I will not take down this video, and I'm just going to let everybody know exactly what I found and what I see. So yeah, again, this is kind of just a PSA. So just be careful of the people that, attempt to sell you their information. Of course, if somebody's giving you free information, that is great. It may not always be accurate, so you always, no matter what information you get, you always have to take with a grain of salt, but even more so if people are attempting to charge you for that information. Always do your own due diligence and your own research. But yeah, that's kind of all I wanted to cover. So everybody here can make up their own opinion on what's going on. But besides that, I hope everybody else has themselves a wonderful day.